Yep. There we go. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Breaking the Base, episode 79. We're going to come at you with a special topic. Me and Ken are going to drop the beat when it comes to Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
Mortal Kombat is one of my all-time favorite video game franchises. It is one of the world's most well-known video game fighting franchises next to Street Fighter and Tekken and Dead or Alive and them. But Mortal Kombat is up there as one of the main three. And for those who don't know what Mortal Kombat is basically this interdimensional tournament where the fighters of Earth had to defend Earth against these other invaders from different dimensions and everything. It gets weird, but it's still an awesome franchise.
Yeah, it's like 18 realms, I think, total.
I think it's more than that. It might be. I know.
I think it says there was 18 realms that were basically the only way you could defeat another realm is if you beat the heroes of that realm. Yeah, and Mortal Kombat, basically.
Yeah.
Then you have what's called Outworld, and Outworld's kind of the one that we see the most in the movie series.
It's the most prominent one next to Earth Realm.
Yeah,
Earth Realm, for those who don't know, is Earth.
just throw it out there. It's definitely Earth. I was trying to find all my little information.
Now, Mortal Kombat has been around for the longest time. It's been around since the 80s, I believe, late 80s, maybe early 90s. And what this franchise is specifically known for, that trumps any other franchise, is the gore, the fatalities, and just how brutal combat is.
Finish him.
The funny
thing is, we do that. Like the kids would be fighting and junk, and I'd be like, "Finish him." And they're like, "What? Finish him! Rip his spine out or something. Make it good. Make it." I mean, the newest game was actually D-rated because of the intensity and violence and the
it went over the
finishing moves. I mean, they went. I mean, if you watch some of the clips, and you can go to YouTube and look them up, there are some brutal, crazy. It's just brutal. It's really brutal and bloody.
They did not hold back at all.
No, when you see like X-rays of bone structures being snapped and crunched and guts squirting out ears and all kind of stuff, it's very.
And I got that one too. I don't got all the DLC. Like I don't got all of the characters like Jason and Jason and the guy from Texas Chainsaw, Predator, Alien. They got them in the game too.
What, really?
Yeah. They went all out. Like Part 9 got Freddy Krueger in it.
Is that a good idea for a known game? I mean, granted, it's fun, but do you think that adds to the game, bringing in like all these extra, add-ons or DLCs or whatever you want to call them now?
It does to a certain extent because it's nice to play with these characters that aren't originally like video game characters, and now they're in a fighting video game doing what they do the best in these movies and stuff. But that's only for like one of those, the hardcore fans is like fight. I gotta get more characters. Me, I'm more the type, I need campaign and story and stuff like that. I'm good with the 25, like the 20 characters they give me, as long as I have an extensive campaign and good modes to help me out. That's another reason why I didn't buy characters. Now, Mortal Kombat, it's not only a video game franchise. I'm quite sure some people have either read some of the comics, read some of the books, watched the web series that was on YouTube, watched some of the movies, or checked out even some of the television shows that they have had, and it's managed to become multimedia at this point. Now, we'll go and talk about a little bit familiar ground, which I'm going to allow Ken because I know a little bit more. I know more about it than he does. But have you seen the movies?
I have seen the first movie. I believe I have seen the second movie, and that has been pretty much it.
What are your general thoughts?
I was never a big game player, but I did see the video games in the arcades when I was in there, and that's arcades are places you go play video games, people. For those who do not know, which is strange because you don't see arcades hardly anymore at all. But that used to be the place you hung out. And I always thought it was kind of neat. The storyline was kind of interesting, but I never really, dug majorly into it. But then the movies came out, and what was I saying earlier? The movie came out when my son was like 3 years old. And he's 25 today, so if that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
95, I think is what it was. So, I remember going to see the movie, and I think I even took him with me to go see it. And it was good. I mean, I wasn't 100% up to date with characters, but it was interesting, and I liked the style. I liked the music in it for sure.
The music
soundtrack is badass. I love the soundtrack.
Yeah. It was. I'll give it that.
And, I didn't know the whole true storyline. I knew who kind of the bad guys were and who the good guys kind of were. I didn't have the complete premise of the show, but, I mean, I really liked the first movie. In fact, I probably liked it a lot better than this second one.
As a fan of the like me, I didn't like the first movie, and I kind of liked the second movie more. But now that I kind of go back and I look over them, I kind of say both of them were shitty to me. But they do have things that I do like about it. Like I can sit down and I can still somewhat enjoy it. One thing, and for those who don't know, again, like me and him explained, basically the premise of the first movie is earthly god, end up assembling these fighters because it's Earth's turn to be in the tournament, the Mortal Kombat tournament, to basically decide the fate of Earth. And they end up getting all of these fighters together. It was an action star, movie star, a soldier, and a monk, basically. And they end up going to this island to compete in this tournament. There they find all of these different characters there that have all of these like supernatural abilities, and they for the most part win. And the second movie picks up right after it, where there's an even bigger bad guy that says, okay, screw the tournament, I'm just going to invade. So now these characters have to enlist the help of other characters to help take this guy down. The bad guy in the first movie was Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung is a sorcerer that not only can, which in the Mortal Kombat franchise, you gauge your power by the souls that you take, that you absorb. So whenever you watch the first movie, of course, you see every time somebody gets beat, what does Shang Tsung does? He absorbs their soul. And the more souls you absorb, the more powerful you are, basically.
Yeah, and he's really old too.
Yeah, and I do like his ability to shapeshift, which is another unique. That's one of his unique, if not the unique ability of his. He can turn into any other character, and it can get you kind of confusing to master in the games. But if you know how to do it, you're good to go.
Well, yeah, Shao Kahn was in the second one.
Yeah, and Shao Kahn is basically
his boss.
Yeah, like the boss of all bosses. Which I actually ended up reading up a little bit more about Shao Kahn, and I ended up finding out Shao Kahn wasn't even the most powerful guy.
It always seems to be that way, isn't it?
Huh?
It always seems to be that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You always well, we used to call it the BBC or the BBD, the bigger, better deal. But and there's always in comics, there's always the bigger, badder bad guy.
I thought you were about to say something else. I'm like, oh, that's a different conversation.
That's a whole different story we're not going to talk about on this show.
But yeah, like he has somewhat of an interesting backstory. Shao Kahn was, I believe, a priest to an even powerful guy named Onaga. Onaga was this like dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, he couldn't beat him, so what he ended up doing is he poisoned him, and that's how he came to power. And he's been on a roll, just taking over realm after realm after realm ever since. And he is probably one of the most prominent villains in video games. I can't remember what he ranked, but he's one of the most prominent. There's other bad guys. There's this sorcerer guy named Quan Chi. From every time I see him, he's just a big douchebag. You got this elder god named Chinook, which when it comes to Chinook, I've never really cared for the guy. I'd rather go against Shao Kahn than Chinook. I find Shao Kahn to be more of like presence wise. I find him to be more of a threat. And that was emphasized more when I played Mortal Kombat 9, and I literally took 100 tries to beat this guy. And I was not playing when I say that. I literally 100 times he beat me.
Keep going and going and going and going. Yeah, that's how I use it.
And I finally figured out how I beat him. You play him 3 times in that game, but you play him as 3 different characters. And I noticed that the first 2 characters, they could teleport. That's how I beat him the first 2 times. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I find out the character you play as Raiden in the final fight. And I'm like, Raiden can teleport. So that's how after 100 times or whatever, I started utilizing his teleporting techniques in the fight. And I actually ended up beating him. Because he's one of those. Shao Kahn is one of the most challenging, most frustrating characters you can ever fight, because he can take you out in 3 hits.
Smack, you're done. Game over.
If you ever watch any of the gameplay for it, he'll literally, if he's not taking you out in 3 powerful hits, he'll spam attacks to where you can't get out of it. And he does not play. But I know I've been talking about that. Now, there have been a whole host of video games, and I'm terribly sorry that Ken here has not experienced any of them. I don't know if you have or not.
Nah, I've really never played any. I've seen them more than I've played them.
Yeah.
I kind of like the stories. I'm not so much into the actual gameplay, but I thought the story was interesting, and that's what kind of brought me into the Mortal Kombat world. I mean, granted, yeah, I saw it in the arcades, and then I've seen it, on some of the gaming consoles, or early gaming consoles. Mm-hmm. And you always, remember we were joking about finish him and, all the combo moves and stuff like that. You couldn't go into an arcade and not hear that playing. So,
and it was the original one too. Which I still can't beat. I can't beat that one, and I can't beat the second one.
That's funny. Those games are 20 years old, 15 years old.
And that sucks, because a lot of those games you can't beat them now.
You know what's funny? Even that, you say that, did you have a Nintendo?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Yeah.
All right. Kids nowadays, my kids down here, they're 13 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot beat Mario Brothers.
I ain't beat them yet.
They can't play it because they're expecting to play something like Call of Duty or any of the other FPS games and stuff like that. They just cannot process the simplicity of the Mario Brothers or Dr. Mario or Tetris. It doesn't click in their heads.
My mom schooled me. My mom schooled me in Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man.
Yeah, Pac-Man Jr.
I can't get it. I still like that Mario Brothers game. I love those games because I go back and play them if I had them. But I still ain't beat that game. And it seems like those games back then were harder than the games are now.
I know, and that's what kills me is I'm sitting here and I'm trying to play Call of Duty or whatever, and it's okay, but I mean we only had up, down, left, right, A, B. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's all you had. Now you've got controllers with 30 buttons on them doing 15 different things at one time, and you're yeah, how the hell do they function? But they can't play a game of simple Mario Brothers.
That's when I went back to start. I bought the little Mortal Kombat trilogy, so I got the first 3 games on my Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to playing when I'm playing the 2D version of it. I'm used to playing Mortal Kombat 3. When I'm playing more the 3D version, I'm used to playing Mortal Kombat 9 and 10. And I played like some of the ones in between. Like I played I played Armageddon. I've played Mortal Kombat 4. Because Mortal Kombat 4 is the first time you actually went into like 3D. And I like Armageddon because Armageddon did something that none of the other Mortal Kombat games did. And I give them a thumbs up and I hope they bring it back. They actually let you create your own character. And not only did you create your own character, you got to choose how they looked and you got to choose their fighting style. Like you actually could literally make their fighting styles.
Well, see, that's a plus for the game. That gives you a little life into the game.
Which I'm disappointed they didn't bring back in the last two. They need to bring that back. That was just awesome.
May have been a nice test run and see what they could do.
Yeah, they should have brought that back. That was the one element of the game that kept bringing me back to it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make me a character, and you can show if you want to do like high punch and low punch and all of that stuff. You got to choose how it went, the powers, the combos. You chose all of that stuff. They went in depth with that, and they need to bring that back. I'm crying over them, begging. Come on, bring it back now. I'll buy the game. Just let me. Come on, give it to me. That's all I ask.
Bring it to me with a $60 price tag.
but yeah, and like I went back to play the first one. I'm so used to playing the 2D version of Part 3. I was trying to run. You can't run in the first two games. That's how I knew how to do my combo.
Side to side. That's all you got.
Yeah, it's like it was more slow pace and stuff. And I was like, I can't run. Then every time I went to go do like a combo, because Part 1 ain't as fast, Part 2 ain't as fast paced as 3. 3 is fast paced. Like you can run at your opponent and then just deck them before they can go do anything. It was a very fast paced game. But I can't even beat 1 and 2 yet. In fact, I went back to play 3, couldn't even beat 3. I was like, good God. But I beat 9
myself.
but I beat 4. But I beat Armageddon, and I beat 9 and 10. There was also a game called Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero, where it was kind of a platformer adventure game, but you're playing as Sub-Zero. And I have to say, that was a freaking awesome game. It was awesome. You didn't fight like that, but it was cool when you was utilizing your abilities to transverse these platforms and stuff. That was a freaking awesome game, and they need to definitely like HD that back up because I buy it.
Yeah, I like some of the side characters that are in there, especially like Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
One of the longest running rivalries in video games, which it always kills me because even though they're rivals and stuff, and it's like Sub-Zero always loses.
Well, it's trippy to just even read their stories. You see the characters, but what's their background, and it's pretty crazy. Some of the stories of these characters that what they were before they ever started in the games.
And for the characters that you know of, who would you say would be your like top 3?
Well, I kind of like bad guys, but I think cool looking wise. I mean, I do like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I definitely like those two.
Yeah.
I think Guru was kind of an interesting character, but he wasn't very long lived in the series though.
He wasn't really prominent at all.
You got this big man. Actually, they had a male and female version of the whatever he is. It is
Tokas or something like that.
Yeah, forearm. I mean, the concept was really cool looking. And I was looking at some of the concept art and everything of both the male and female versions of them in the stories. They just didn't give a lot of background of them though.
It's 3 of them. It's Goro, Shiva, and it's another one, but he looks kind of like a tiger.
Yeah,
like his skin color looks like a tiger fur. I can't remember what his freaking name is. What do you think about Reptile? Because I like Reptile.
let's see here. Let me go back and look at the El Reptiler. Oh, he looks pretty wicked.
Oh, yeah,
he's done
and
a lot of
almost
changes over the years, though.
Yeah, he changes so drastically. Some he looks human, some he looks like a lizard. In the later incarnation, he looks more lizard.
Yeah, in the movie. Yeah, I remember him in the movie. Okay, he was the one that spit the acid or something, wasn't it?
He didn't necessarily spit acid. In the first movie, he was that lizard thing that fell into that statue, and then all of a sudden he turned into some kind of fighter. I still don't understand that, but okay. And then in the second movie, he was like the triple. It was 3 of them. It was supposed
to be. They said a cooler version of Scorpio, or the Scorpion. But again, he doesn't really. They're not giving a whole lot of background. See, and as kind of chintzy as it sounds, it kind of it brings your involvement into the game. Like I say, I saw the movie, I saw the characters, I said, yeah, they look pretty cool, and didn't really think much of it. And then I started kind of wanting to read the background, kind of like I'm doing right now, and I'm digging into the background of the characters and just trying to get a real quick wrap of them. But some of them are they were actually kind of good guys to start with. Like Sub-Zero was like a good guy to start with, but then he ended up dying and being brought back and came back as a foot soldier for the Outworld.
Yeah.
One of the other guys was like a Shaolin monk. He came, all the kind of their tragic stories of being one thing and been turned into something else later on.
Yeah.
But you get some of these characters who have just zero background. They're cool looking, but what do they bring to the table?
I'll say one of my all-time favorite characters. She was introduced in Mortal Kombat X, the latest installment. Her name is Devora. She is awesome. She's like part bug, and she can you see, she always had these like slugs and stuff, and she can summon like a horde of gnats and bees or whatever the hell those things was. She could even form like these giant limbs out of her back and stuff.
Oh wow, an organic type creature.
She was one of the best characters in Mortal Kombat X, and I hope they continue to have her. She definitely was
okay. Oh hey, she's voiced by Kelly Hu. That's cool. Insect race called the Kitlin, island realm of Anak. And it was merged with Outworld.
Mm-hmm.
See here. She assists Earth Realm defenders. And let's see. Switch sides. Blah blah blah. It's always fun. Cassie Cage, is that a relation to
that's
character Johnny Cage?
Yeah, that's their daughter.
Okay. Sonya and him's daughter?
Johnny and Sonya, yeah.
Okay.
In Mortal Kombat X, it takes place like, I think, 20 years later.
Yeah, I was wondering, that was one of my questions I was going to ask. I'm looking, at it doesn't really say much. It just tells you the release dates, but I'm looking at the 10, 11 different games that have come out over the years. Yeah. And I was wondering how much time from the original Mortal Kombat to Mortal Kombat X in story time that it was.
Well, and see what it is all the games tell a story, but part 9 is basically 1, 2, and 3 put together. And that's one thing I like about 9 and 10. They actually tell a story. Even though there is the fighting in the story, it actually tells a story.
Well, yeah, you can have some kind of involvement into it. I think I enjoy a game that you can dig into. Like there was a movie made by LucasArts many, 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 many years ago called The Dig. And it's called The Dig.
Oh, I thought you said something else. I was like, whoa.
And it's like basically there's a space shuttle in orbit and an asteroid appears over Earth and they send the space shuttle to go investigate it. And it's actually not an asteroid, it's kind of like a trap. And they end up getting pulled in and brought to another world. And the game kind of goes where you have to solve the mystery what happened and what's going on and what you got to do to get back home. And it's a pretty cool game. It took me a long time to get through it, but it's one of the original LucasArts games that was out there. But you get involved into the characters and then what happened in its story. So you're drawn into the story, which is what I liked about it. I wish they made a movie out of it. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack to it's phenomenal. If you like movie soundtracks, I love the soundtrack to it. But it's kind of like this game too. You got probably 40 different characters spanning at least the last 25 years of being out there, and each game introduces new characters, gets rid of some of the older characters, and kind of brings you into some of the other outer worlds, getting together. And then of course Shao Kahn beating or hiding Aga, and Aga coming back into the real world from death even.
Yep. This is what I was on. Mortal Kombat Alliance, not Alliance, Armageddon. Mortal Kombat Armageddon had the biggest roster of characters. I think it was like 60.
Holy cow!
Yeah, they didn't pull no punches with that game. They brought them all out. Well, almost everybody who had probably died in the previous games. But and another thing I wanted to tell you too. Did you know that the ninja now they do have one for every element?
Really?
Now he's the fire. Sub-Zero, of course, is ice. They got one. He does water. There's the one guy now. He can do. He manipulates earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a couple more. It's like 2 or 3 more. I can't remember what they were though. But I was like, okay. Actually, well, who do you think did a better impression? Did a better performance of Raiden? Christopher Lambert or the guy from Part 2?
Who was the one? See, Lambert kind of got in that role because of Highlander.
Yeah.
Who was the one that played that? I was trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. Let me go see who the Raiden was in the second movie. It's been a while. I think he actually was sort of kind of Asian-ish. Mortal Kombat Raiden.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I like Christopher Lambert, but he was a poor Raiden.
Well, I don't think he fit. Okay, the other guy. I know him. Wow, he was in there too. He was Shao Kahn. Huh.
He was a poor Shao Kahn. He was alright, but no. He was poor. He was a poor Shao Kahn. I used to like him as a kid. And I think that was one of the problems with the second movie. They were so focused on just fights that the story suffered.
Yeah, they tend to really kill stuff real fast. What's the guy? James Remar was Raiden in that one. I think he was. See, the Highlander carries. Lambert carried that Highlander feel, but his English accent was really, or his accent in general was kind of bad.
What is that with his voice that sounds so raspy all the time? That's just him?
That's just his normal, I'm going to kill you kind of. And I'm like, okay, all right. But yeah, the second guy I think probably played the style of the character better. I think Lambert looks kind of a little bit like him. But, if you could combine the two, it'd be a little bit better. But
yeah,
I like the second guy a little bit better just for that reason of fitting the bill a little bit better.
I'm looking at another casting choice thing, which it seems like a lot of people do casting choices. For Liu Kang, they said Danny Wu. He played it Into the Badlands.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. Manu Bennett, they said should play. And for those who don't know, he plays Deathstroke on Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
I could get behind him.
I love the Deathstroke version there.
Somebody put Megan Fox as Katana. No. The only person I would say right off the bat right now I think should play Katana character is that what was the woman that plays in Daredevil season 2, the one that plays Elektra. That would be the only chick right now I would say should play Katana because she's good with combat. She actually looks the part. I mean, she done fighting things. She was Jinx in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
That would work. I think that would work pretty well. Move, cat. I'm being attacked by a cat.
Tony Jaa as Scorpion. I seen him in the Unbok. I guess he's good with combat. I don't know about his acting wise.
Well, but it's fun. You should never see his face because he's always behind the mask. All those characters.
I guess so.
The mask.
This one I'm kind of behind. Ronda Rousey as Sonya Blade.
Yeah.
I'm behind that. And of course, another one. Everybody says that this should be it. Micah Jai White should play Jax.
Yeah, he'll fit pretty well. Still like him a Spawn, but
wow. Somebody said Liam Neeson is Raiden. I don't know about that.
That'd be just like Christopher Lambert. So if I get a particular set of skills that will take you out.
Let me ask you this one. I'm thinking this is actually a good casting choice right here. Vin Diesel, Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
He could fit the bill. Even The Rock. Well, Rock is too. I don't know. I think he's building up too much. But I mean, physically and form wise, The Rock or him would fit very well into the character.
It's the type of character. Shao Kahn. He's a dick. Now we see Vin Diesel play dickish type character.
Yeah, that's where he would roll in the best.
Yeah, and The Rock, I haven't seen him play characters like that.
No, he actually really hasn't even ever played even in a bad guy capacity.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be interesting because just to see that change, it was kind of like watching Robin Williams. He's always playing a funny character, but he was in was it Photomat or
Insomnia?
Yeah, where he was a complete just total wicked bad guy. I mean, completely out of character for what you're expecting, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah, he was like that Death to Smoochie. He was cussing and everything.
Well, his stand-up routine used to be pretty crazy, so it's not that uncommon. It's only in the last probably 15 years that he went to the more Disney style of stuff, just like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy used to be pretty vulgar and bad too. And then he got into Beverly Hills Cop, and then he got into several other projects in which, he wasn't that way anymore. So,
and they got the original Liu Kang from the first movie. You gotta forgive me, something's in my freaking eye. Robin Shou, who played the original Liu Kang in the movie, should be Shang Tsung. That would be interesting because I like it when somebody's a good guy in one series, like a superhero, and then turns around. If there's like a reboot or something, that's not a bad guy.
Yeah, they used to do that a lot in the old TV shows, where you would, always have the either alter ego or the, opposing, completely different character, but that actor playing in a bad role versus the good role that you're used to seeing him in.
Hey, go ahead, man. Keep talking for a minute. This face started getting my eyes. Be right back.
Oh, well, let's continue on talking to the cheer. It's funny. It's very funny, but yeah, the whole series of games is very interesting. I've been reading up on your Devora and Aaron Black and many of the other characters they introduced in the last release, which is the brutal visually game you can see. Mortal Kombat X is definitely crazy, and adding all the extra characters that you can download into it. And it even looks like they've imported it to PS4, Xbox One coming on board.
Which one?
The X, Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah, I know I got the X. It's for I got one for the Xbox One. One thing I want to see them do. All right, now we have talked about this a while ago when it came to like the movies and or series. Do you think that the best possible course they should go should be a movie or a television series?
It depends on the way you want to do it. If you want if you want to expand the characters, you're always going to have to do TV.
Yeah.
If you want to just throw out a movie and cover a specific ground of time or a game, let's say, just what happened in that gaming particularly, then a movie would be great. But I don't know. Mortal Kombat's got so much more behind it. Most people have only seen the games and then the quick YouTube series they had. I think it was like 13 episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
13 or 12 episodes, which was actually, I kind of liked it a little bit better.
Yeah.
In the YouTube thing. And that's the neat thing, though. Right now, you could actually do a Netflix series. I mean, that's what a lot of people are doing now.
That's what I would like to see because they have characters.
Yeah, you can, you have a lot of franchises right now that are running shows like CW has got a lot of the DC stuff.
Yes.
Netflix has run most of the Marvel stuff right now.
Yes.
But Netflix is a great platform right now. That's a very developing platform for hero shows, new shows in general. And even if they only run, half a season, 12 episodes, I think they could pull off a good, decent Mortal Kombat TV series.
I think they could.
I think I would watch that more than I would probably go see it in the movie theater.
Yeah, because there's so much to put into the movie when there's so much story and it's such a big scale with so many characters.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're looking at 11 games or 10 games, 11 games technically, I guess. 11 games over 25 years of history. You have a storyline that's at least running in the time frame about 25 years. So you would have to really hit a theater movie is going to give you 2 hours, 2.5 hours, really pushing it. And I don't think a Mortal Kombat movie would even be over 2 hours. And again, you cut so much out of it too. I mean, unless you're a gamer, that's kind of what they went with the Warcraft movie. Is they were aiming to get those 5 bazillion players who've been playing Warcraft for the last 15 years or 20 years to get them to go see that movie. And for somebody like me who really never got involved in playing the game, at least the FPS game version of it, a lot of it didn't make sense to me. So, I mean, it was just, I was looking at it as a movie in fantasy realm, with a little bit of background. But this game has been around so long that I would be hard pressed for some people not to know what it is.
If they were going to do this as a movie, this is the best way they could do it as a movie. Have the series, have the movie be the finale.
They could do that, yeah. They could wrap it up in a movie. But I still don't think it would even, I mean, I wouldn't do it. I would stick with the Netflix series and do like 12 episodes, or some of them, what they'll do is they'll do a 2-hour premiere and then like 20 episodes or 15 episodes and then do a 2-hour season finale, which really makes like 24 shows.
Yeah.
Which is a full season.
I wouldn't even do 12. Because
to cover a good base on this, I think you could. If it depends on what you want to do. Yeah. Do you want to cover? I mean, you have all these games. You have a lot of story to tell from the original conception of the games to the feat of our the dragon. I can't think of the name at the moment. I'm brain dead. You have a lot of play in between those characters, kids, life in general, a lot of filler material.
And that's why I was saying, if I would have something based off of this, I would probably go for at least 20-something episodes, because it's 3 stages to Mortal Kombat. There's the tournament. There's what happens after the tournament, which is the invasion, and then kind of what happens after the invasion, which Mortal Kombat X kind of went to. And back right there, that could be like 3 seasons. I can get behind it. Even if the first season ended with,
you could do that. You know, the one would give you the history of the tournaments and the backgrounds, and then the second one comes into the beginning of the tournaments. The second one is what happens after in between.
Yeah, and they'll give
the third one, and the third season wraps up with the dragon coming back and, you know, kind of working it back. And I could see that. I could easily see that.
Yeah, that's why I said if they're going to do a Mortal Kombat, they don't need like I said, a movie probably be like a finale, but outside of that, it should be just a series.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do a movie, to be honest. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it.
Mortal Kombat Legacy was actually.
What was that?
They actually gave an interesting role for Casper Van Dien, and he didn't die.
Didn't die.
But who else? They got another one. Sonya should be Ronda Rousey. I'm actually going to give a thumbs up to that. I think she could. Chris Pine playing Johnny Cage, I could kind of get behind it.
I don't know. Maybe
he's a good actor.
He's got the charisma, but I don't think he's got the fighting skills for it.
I could get behind you on that then. Kristen Crook should play Melina. And if you don't know who Kristen Crook is, she played Lana Lang in Smallville.
Okay.
And I could see that. If they could get her to where she train her up a little bit, I could see that.
Melina, see, let me look at the character.
The one with the mouth
character.
Like I could see that. They got another Michael J. White.
That's what?
Tom Hardy playing Kano. I could kind of see that. Keanu Reeves playing Kenshi. I can see that too. Dwayne Johnson playing Goro. I can kind of see it too.
He could play Goro.
I could play. I could see that. I could see that.
I could easily say we could have Van Diesel in one role and him in the other. We get them both.
Oh man, like that's pretty cool. Like that's what I would like to see. Let me see. I'm gonna look up Mortal Kombat movie wish list and see what other people are saying to give out general thoughts on what people are saying about this. Danny Glover was on the wish list. I hope not.
I wish I could remember that site that had like all that on there. They went through like and redid like all these movies and games and who they want to play the list. I guess it was called wish list, maybe. It used to be really popular for a while, and I think they just kind of faded out of existence.
Okay, this is my advice to whoever's going to make a Mortal Kombat movie. First, if you're going to make a Mortal Kombat movie, make it to where, I would say this, make it to where it be a 3-part movie, but you got to get that story good. The story has to link all 3 of them, and it has to be, even though that they're all a part of each of the series, the movie has to stand. That's one thing, because I don't want it to be, okay, we make the first movie and it's about the tournament, and then the second movie we try to fix everything up for the second movie to make sure that that's connected together. No, if you're going to make a Mortal Kombat movie, what you need to do is make the overall story of all 3 movies and link them all together that way. That way you can split them down the middle equally, and you'll know where everything's at. Another thing is, if you're going to have characters, don't give us the cartoony characters.
No, I'm getting over a lot of that cartoony crap.
That's a lot that I saw in the second movie. Like the characters, they were like trying too hard to be the characters. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. The characters can have their own thoughts. They can have their own doubts. They can have their own motivations. They can actually sit there and be like this and not have to say all these weird one-liners. Just make them all feel authentic. Make them feel believable. And that's another reason I think part 2 kind of sucked a little bit. Also, another thing, if you're going to have fights, make them. And I will say, both the movies did have some pretty cool fights. So keep the cool fights. And Although some fights were lame, like the whole Sonya versus Kano, that was a lame fight. What was it? Liu Kang was fighting this dreaded dude. Nobody cared. Like the fight was stupid. It was like Liu Kang kicked him like hit him like 3 times. The guy was out. And also, if you're going to give us a climactic battle, make them better. I'm sorry, the whole Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung fight sucked. The whole Liu Kang versus Shao Kahn's fight sucked. Give us more.
Bring something worthy.
And yeah, and I want to see more like do better casting, because as much as that one woman looked like Katana, she could not act. I'm sorry, that's just me. I didn't like. If you think about it, what did Katana do in those movies? She didn't do nothing. All she did was told Liu Kang to use the force like the water, or the water in some bread or something. That's when he killed Sub-Zero, what she said. The life force is water, something like that. What was it? That which gives life is water, or something like that.
Yeah, like, and he ended up using the bucket, leaving the bucket there.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't do anything. That's what made me mad. I'm like, this Katana, give her something to do. She did not have a moment in that movie. In fact, the only person that made any moments in any of the movies was pretty much Liu Kang. Sonya did something good, cool. Sonya and Jax did some pretty cool stuff in the second movie. Johnny Cage had a pretty cool moment in the first movie when he fought Scorpion.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And we did talk about, the television series, which I think would be a good way to go, especially given the fact that Legacy came out. Legacy was a very interesting idea, especially the way they modernized it. Also, we talked about the video games. I would like to see them come out with another video game. Part 10, Mortal Kombat X was good. The story was not where it should have been. But they need to definitely fix that. But I would love for them to come out with another sequel. Perhaps bringing back Onaga. Perhaps bringing back or even creating a new bad guy for the series. Or even bring back some of those characters that kind of fell off after Armageddon, such as like Taven, or what was that one chick that looked like Raiden or Fujin. Bring those characters into part 11, so that way we can, get another good story that was going to flesh out everything, as well as bring us back some of these really cool characters that might not have, people might not have bit the hook for in that game, but make them that way, make them cool again, so that way we actually get a chance. I mean, you brought Devora into the freaking game. How awesome is she? But I'm sorry, we rambled a little bit. We didn't even get to the comic books or anything like that. But we did come at the ending of the show. Ken, is there anything else you want to add to this?
Oh no, it's a very good series. If you keep up with it and keep the backstory. Personally, I would like to read or see more of the backstory of the games.
Mm-hmm.
A TV series would be a great thing to see if they would fund it. Netflix would probably be the great medium for that right now.
Yeah.
I say the movies were okay, but they're far from great. And remember, though, granted, the first movie came out in 1995, so it is what it is at the time it was.
And it's still going
better. Yeah, and you got better capability now than you did 25 years ago. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But overall, it's an interesting series. It's different. It's always good versus evil, but in this case, we have a little bit of everything. So
yes,
check it out. Play the games. Enjoy the series. Read the comics. I haven't read the comics. They might expand my knowledge base a little bit more too.
I read a little bit of them, but I didn't get into like all of them.
It's kind of like going into the Halo series. You got to read there's like 3 books in there right off the bat that if you read those, the whole series makes even more sense to you then if you want to get into it.
Yeah,
so I'm sure the comics add that extra edge of story that we don't see through the movies or through the gameplay. But I think it was interesting. I mean, you had me at a disadvantage for once because I really didn't get too much into the games. I've seen the movies, but I read a lot of material. So you get me every now and then when I don't have my knowledge base up to speed. But you know, I learn and read, and makes more interesting, because that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read more about it. So that's the whole point. If it makes you learn, hey, that's cool with me. Gives you a better gaming experience and better experience in the movies if you watch them.
Yeah. And with that, we'll go ahead and just end the show right here, guys. In the comment section below, let us know, what did you think about the discussion about Mortal Kombat? Talk about what's going on with the movies, the television show that we want, another video game, comics, the books, just a general idea of the stories, the characters, and the awesome brutalities. Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on in the on this channel. And me and Ken are going to do our thing and peace on out and let y'all have it.